Right, are we rolling?
Do I just sit here?
Yeah,
Come
just
on
sit
in.
down, make yourself comfortable.
Hi, right.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good. Do you recall going to the library as a child?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, many times.
Yeah, sometimes. Do you recall using textbooks at school?
Yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you taught about same-sex parents in school? What era did you grow up in?
No to primary. Only very late from secondary, 2008 to 2020.
I don't really remember. I started secondary school in 2016.
No, I wasn't. I was in primary school in the 2010s and started secondary in 2016. Do you think children should be taught about the LGBTQ community?
I think maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like the history in the past and the queer figureheads. Like kids nowadays definitely need to be taught about it.
I think if they're taught about it, then they should be taught how to humanise our communities and also find things that young queer people can be inspired by.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Do you feel as though you were, if at all, fairly represented in storybooks or textbooks at school?
In some scenarios.
Not really, no.
No.
Well, I'm cisgender, so I felt quite represented in books. So it was easy to find ones about like girly girls or like tomboys. But I suppose if you were genderqueer, it might be a bit hard.
Do you think the world is more open about sexuality now compared to when you grew up?
Somewhat. I mean, I guess it's good for young people to learn about the LGBTQ community, to learn that there's no shame about it and for it to be celebrated. I think it's good for young people to learn about like historical queer figures, similar to my situation when I was younger, I got taught about it.
I definitely think it's gone back in progress into 2010s, which is when I grew up. I definitely think more needs to be done to re-lighten the progress.
I was born in 2005 and I think there's been a lot of good changes and things are a lot more open now. But I think recently it's started to regress, and even up till the late 2010s there was still a wide stigma after the legalisation of gay marriage.
I'm 20 and I still think it's quite a taboo subject, but I definitely think our generation's made it so that we have more of an open conversation about it, so like people don't necessarily come out to their families, but they would introduce their partners. But everyone still seems to keep it quite quiet. Like definitely if somebody would introduce somebody to their parents from like the opposite sex, it's just not really spoken about.
Have you experienced internal homophobia?
A little. I mean, I didn't tell anyone, it was my secret for about 4 years until I realised that I might have been queer. I don't really like the term queer. I feel like it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. I feel like I would rather use the term gay.
Coming from a deeply religious family where relationships were even forbidden, let alone actually expressing my sexuality, this then meant that I always felt that I had to hide part of me to them, which then meant I couldn't actually express myself properly.
Yeah, I think I'd be lying if I said I hadn't. It kind of always lingers around, more unconsciously than consciously. Growing up I had no queer women in my life, at least not that I knew of, which was surprising. So my internalised homophobia was implemented by internalised misogyny in female family members.
I grew up in a Middle Eastern country, so being LGBTQ was illegal. So I held a lot of resentment for myself for a really long time.
Do you feel that if you had been represented in storybooks or textbooks growing up, you would feel less internalised homophobia?
It's not something I struggled with either way. However, I do think that it would have made me realise my sexuality earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
I think potentially, but a lot of it did stem from my upbringing and a lot of family members being homophobic or relatively close-minded.
I definitely would have felt more comfortable coming out. I didn't feel like what I was feeling was normal. Representation would have probably affirmed me and helped me come to terms with who I am and making me feel normal.
Do you feel that children who are in primary school now have more fair representation within all types of books?
Maybe a little more, but I still think that they should have more fair representation.
No, but I definitely think it's better than when I was younger, but it still has a long way to go. Not only in sexuality, but also in disability and stuff like that.
A lot of children's books now are starting to include LGBTQ representation, which is amazing for both queer and non-queer people, especially if they start reading them from a young age. But in schools it's tricky because the teacher has to choose to include it in their lessons, and I think there's more representation but it's not actually being implemented enough in schools.
I think there is more representation, I just don't think it's fair representation.